Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Leo. If Leo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so tonight we have the Strength or Lust card. And we'll see how does that go along with these tea leaves. Okay, and let's take a look and see what are they going to show us tonight. All right. Immediately, before I start, let me just say, if you haven't subscribed yet, think about doing that. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to like the video, I'd appreciate you so much. And if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. If you are new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments. Okay, so we have a skull right here. You can see with the two eyes. Now we have a person standing here. Okay, and it looks like they're holding, the Ace of Cups. Okay, next to it we have a little fish right here. Okay, I'm looking at this and I'm immediately thinking this has so much to do with applying yourself. I know, you're like, how do you get that? So we have that Strength and Lust card, right? So yeah, there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of creativity, maybe impulses towards, sensuality or indulgence, desire. Oops, I hit that was probably loud. I'm sorry. An inclination towards your desires, right? Which, let's face it, Leo, sometimes you can get a little spiraled out, right? You can get a little distracted. You can get a little indulgent, maybe veering off the path a bit. So I look at this and I'm seeing that we have a maybe fear of money not coming in, maybe a fear of not being able to kind of pay the bills or at least have the kind of extra funds to be able to pay for the lifestyle that you want to lead. Now with that cup, it is the vessel of those emotional waters, right? It is that grail. It is that most holy thing. It is that kind of, if you could think of your body even being as the grail, it is a physical manifestation that is the housing of our emotions, our spirit, our soul particles, our, all of the things that we are made up of, our archetypes, our proclivities, our conditionings, our whatever, all the things, right? And so I see you really trying to kind of reestablish what's the word? To be dedicated, devoted to having, maybe a spiritual routine, a work routine, and immediately I think, getting to bed on time, right? Getting enough sleep, not staying up into the middle of the night, right? Getting up early, being somebody who is more disciplined. And I think that's the word that keeps coming up in my mind here is discipline, seeking out kind of, reeling it all back in, right? Getting things reordered, streamlining some stuff, clearing out parts of your life that don't make sense anymore, the clutter, the things that are not priorities any longer. It could be that you are involved in things that aren't very meaningful to you anymore, but you do it because you've been doing it for years. You know, maybe it's even within relationships, your certain friends or family members. You keep showing up because these are the people you know. These are the people you have a history with. But you don't necessarily connect on any meaningful level. You know, and that doesn't mean that they aren't important to you, but I feel like it's just kind of like your life is maybe populated with some things that kind of take up time that you really need. And so I feel like there's this kind of, now it's not an isolation, and it's not really that you're going into this very solitary lifestyle, but I can see some qualities of that emerging. Becoming focused, right? Becoming more disciplined, doing the things that maybe you've done before, and maybe some of them you have not, right? Things that maybe you have encountered through your studies or research. You're watching YouTube videos and you come upon something that you find interesting, and yeah, you take right off into it. For me, I was thinking about a few years ago, it was around the time I was pregnant, and my husband introduced me to Wim Hof, right? And this is the guy that's like into cold exposure and breath work. And I thought, okay, this isn't really, I don't know. What do I think about this? I live in the cold, or at least a region that's very cold for about half the year. So I'm already kind of doing some of this stuff, right? So let's see, let's really dig in. And I found it to be super important to my journey, especially through pregnancy and postpartum. You know, it just, and it's amazing when we find these tidbits of things that really kind of get the wheels turning. And I feel you kind of coming into this place where, yeah, there's some stuff that you find kind of inspiring, you know, and generally I think it's a sense of like, let's kind of get this thing together. I want to get my life kind of resorted. So I feel like I'm making use of my time here on earth, right? I'm doing something that is not just idling about, right? And so, you know, the other part of that is I feel, yeah, there's this issue with really wanting to be able to make more money, to have maybe, you know, more of the things that you have wanted, or to be able to travel, or, you know, someday retire, whatever it is. But I do feel like it all is connected, and to become more focused in our spiritual realms, in our self-work, in the mastery of things, this is all extended out into our career, our work, how we make money, our hustles, right? I can tell you when I'm sitting around kind of just languishing in my life, which, you know, I've done a fair amount of, I can tell you that I'm not very proactive about, you know, coming up with ideas of how can I, you know, kind of make some money? What kind of things should I be doing? How can I find something to do that I don't hate, right? I'm not lamenting every moment of it, and, you know, still make a living for myself. And the only way that ever came to clarity for me, at least right now, right, was in becoming more proactive in other parts of my life, partaking in the magic, you know, ceremonies, rituals, keeping altars, you know, studying, writing. That was a big thing for me, beginning writing again. And so on. Now, this is different for each of us, of course, but I wanted to give you some examples. And so I do. I feel you really kind of taking charge in this part of your being. And now this is no small thing, right? This is a very central aspect of your existence. Now, we have the letter K down here, okay? We also have maybe an R. It looks like a lowercase r. Maybe KR, or maybe two separate letters altogether. So we have a person chasing a hyena right here. You can see right here, we can see the hyena. So for me, immediately, this is, the hyena really represents the sense of survival, maybe even kind of a sense of desperation, of wildness, of like this primal outburst, kind of, you know, just wreaking havoc, trying to get to that thing that you want to. If you could imagine like a dog that's stuck in a room, right? And it's trying to claw its way out of the door, and it's just tearing at anything it can. It's scratched the paint off the walls. It's got its, you know, mouth. It's trying to get in there on the frame of the door so it can just rip the thing right out. This is the kind of energy I feel like you are really trying to avoid, right? I feel like there's this growing intensity, and it feels like it could go either, you know, into this frenzy that turns into kind of a hysteria almost, or really, you know, using more of this kind of direction of energy, something along the lines of tantra, or you know, even yogic, or something like this, where there is a control of the energy. There are kind of controlled releases of energy. And so I see you really trying to get a hold of yourself. And now this may be that, again, this is about sensuality, lust, a desire for coupling or closeness, belovedness, and you're really at times willing to do whatever you can to get to that thing, right? It can be destructive. It could be something that is almost so intoxicating that you're making many missteps in your life, because you're just trying to get to that thing. Now, on the other hand, you know, I think as you try to really kind of gain a control over this energy, it is something so potent that can be applied to not only your journey of the beloved, right, this love journey that you were on, but pushed into your other creative processes, into your innovations, your ponderings, your self-exploration, you know, and I think ultimately it comes down to allowing yourself to take this really fiery, creative essence and applying it to building your life, really as like the architect, not succumbing to trying to fit into other people's ideas of what life should be like, but really deciding, I'm going to live my life the way that I want to, the way that not only I want to, but I need to, you know, to honor your authentic being and not kind of shrink yourself into fitting into somebody else's conception of reality. And now this can happen a lot, like in our relationships, with family members, with the kind of constraints and pressures of our social lives, how we want to be perceived by others versus what we are really like, and within our relationships. I mean, I think this is why things like divorce are so big, is that we couple ourselves, we become entangled, we find union with somebody, and that's wonderful and lovely, but we lose ourselves in this kind of shared identity. Or if there's somebody who's maybe a little more particular, dominant in the relationship, yeah, we can really end up trying to fit into their world. And, as a Leo and as a spiritual being, I think that can be really close to a soul death. It might feel like we are, I don't know, what is it? Like being of service to our union, to honoring this pairing, this beloved, nature that we have, in dedication to somebody that we care for, that we want to spend our life with, and it becomes so oppressive, right? And I think that happens even sometimes in the best of circumstances. And then we come through these seasons, right? And an awakening happens somewhere in there, or at least the stirrings of, hey, what am I doing? What am I doing? Is this the life that I intended on? Is this the life that I want to live for the next, 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, whatever? Have I been honoring that authentic drive, the authentic drives that we have, right? I don't know, but we all have these moments. And I think that at times, it can, this understanding that maybe I've woken up in the wrong place here, it can drive us to these desperate acts, energies. And it is, you see this in people's lives all the time. It literally is called a midlife crisis, right? Now they have like quarter life crises and stuff too. So it's like a lot of us are coming to these understandings continually throughout our lives. And so, I'm not saying that you're having a midlife crisis, but yeah, I do. I think that you are coming to a place where, there needs to be some changes. There needs to be something, right? Something real, something that feels real, authentic, close, potent, meaningful. Have you ever had those moments in life where it's like everything is good? It's good. I have nothing to complain about. Everything is good. Everybody's good. Everybody's healthy. Money's okay. We're just going along with it all. And then suddenly something happens. You have a revelation. You have a moment with a stranger. They say something to you that feels like it's coming from beyond. You see something miraculous. You meet somebody that feels like you've known them forever. You go on a walk and, I don't know, you find a place that feels like it's like the crossroads of the universe. That energy is just so profound and you don't really know why, but it is. And you look around at your life and you think, I've been sleeping I've been asleep. I didn't know that I was sleeping. I thought I was here. I thought I was very in touch with myself. I thought I was being mindful and present. And then this thing happens, whatever it is. For me, it's usually natural occurrences. Like when I see light reflected off of water onto the wall. And it's glittering and it's sparkling and it's dancing and it's calling to me. It's telling me, yeah, you don't have to worry. You don't have to guess. Life is divine. There is something beyond all of this. And I'm reminded I'm a celestial being. I'm a cosmic being. I am a being of consciousness, of light, of, of star stuff. And I've been asleep in my own life. I've been asleep this whole time. And I'll go to sleep again. And I'll go to sleep again. And I'll go to sleep again. It feels like an important time for you, Leo. It feels like a change. It feels like the current is picking up. It's really your decision what you're going to do with that. Now, over here, we have a large fish. So, whatever happens, right? Money is going to be coming in. I think you're really, in this next few months, maybe 6 months or so, it does feel like you start to find your footing. You're going to find something that makes sense to you. You're finding something that you're good at, you enjoy. It's not that bad. Actually, maybe it's pretty dang good. And the money is going to start showing up. Definitely. You will have more opportunities and you will take them. You will also fulfill them, right? Not just like, hey, I got the job. Now I'm going to, just go on autopilot. No, I see you really making something of this and building upon it. And the money will come. Okay. Now, I also see a singular person kind of standing over here. And so I do also feel like this is a push towards contemplation. Okay. Making sure that you are carving out a bit of time for yourself every day. I know it seems like a lot, but every day, even if it's in the shower, that's my favorite place to be thinking. In the shower, taking a walk, sitting on the porch, sitting in traffic on the way to work, whatever it is, taking some time to contemplate, okay? Now, what is the difference between contemplating and thinking and meditating and so on and so on? I don't know exactly. My big question is always like, am I disassociating or am I contemplating? What is going on here? But yes, I do. I think it's kind of important anyways that we have some topics that maybe when you're beginning the journey of contemplative life, maybe having some prompts to kind of begin with, to get yourself going with. And those will be up to you, okay? It's hard for me to even think about my examples here because I am constantly going over different things. Right now, I have been back into studying the Typhonian orders and writings, especially of Kenneth Grant. And so I am fully immersed in the night side once again, where I belong. And so many topics involved in in kind of in these kind of very strange lunar Saturnian landscapes. That's where I'm at. But, you know, for you, it could be whatever. Go look up some prompts for contemplation. I like, there are a lot of writings on contemplative prayer within Gnosticism that are really interesting. Now, you don't have to be a Christologist or a Christian to, you know, read these kinds of books, but, or follow even these lines of thinking. But I think it is important for us to, consider widely, you know, and draw from many sources, right? Ones that we identify with, ones that we find difficult or, maybe even uncomfortable to some degree, things that we find confronting, and things that, you know, we maybe find quite blissful to surrender our attention to, right? So anyways, let's get on to our self-care affirmation cards, and we're going to go ahead and stop where it feels right. I'm going to flip it over. It says, dawn of transformation. Here it is, Leo. You are on the path, right? Transforming. Today I am reborn. This is the dawn of my transformation. Absolutely. All right. Leo, is that what I said earlier? Maybe I did. I don't know. Yeah, it's Leo. Sometimes I say things and I'm just like, that sounds like a weird word, right? Do you ever get that where you say something so many times you're like, is that the right word? That doesn't sound right. But yes, Leo, I love you. You know I do. I know you know I do. And so I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is my great honor. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, think about doing that. It is free. And if you want to leave a comment, absolutely do. I would love to hear from you. And what else? Yeah, if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments. I've been taking a little bit of some creative license here with doing just some kind of different readings, and I appreciate you kind of going on this journey with me. You know, I don't know, the numbers for the channel have been up and down, and sometimes, you know, I do so many readings, I start to feel stagnant, like I'm just doing the same kind of readings over and over. So I like to switch it up. You know, and some of you like that, some of you don't. I'm sorry if you know, some of them people are like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, you're rambling. Yeah, I'm a bit of a rambler, but I appreciate you that go on these journeys with me. I also really love myself listening to readers that kind of go wandering a bit, right? And so I don't know, if I find it interesting, and so yeah, it is a joy to be able to do those kinds of readings. So anyways, Leo, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a couple days from now. Good night, good night, good night.